Almost every big business began as a tiny startup. The REA Group today operates real estate websites all over the world. But it got its start in 1995 in this suburban house near Melbourne, Australia. Martin Howell, Carl and Carmel Sabeljack founded the company in their house's lounge room and in its garage. The house was Carl and Carmel's family home where they raised their children. Here, they and their friend Martin nurtured what has become a hugely successful internet business. In January 2008, we took them back to the house for the first time in years and asked them about their early days 13 years before.
This is the old furniture we dug up from RMIT. It's still here.
Yeah, we
Same
rebuilt it
colours and
all.
all.
The worst thing was, wasn't it, when if ever someone came to the office, we had to bring them through here. And like it was the laundry and all our rubbish was
Didn't we
there.
have curtains or something? We'd have these
Little
makeshift
fake curtains.
just to make it look like this little corridor kind of thing so they could get past this bit and into the computer room.
You know, every day I'd walk down this little corridor and into this small room with this low roof, and the servers all buzzing. It was always very noisy in there. The servers are making a lot of noise.
I don't believe this. These bloody computer racks are still here. Now,
That's where the service used to be.
Didn't I have
all
a
the
hole?
modems.
I drilled a hole up through the ceiling or something to get those baby monitors going where we had the communications from upstairs to downstairs.
Yes.
It was actually quite a good little work area from my point of view, because I was developing, so I wanted to be near the servers and all that. I just have that memory of just programming in that location. Had a couple of screens and did all the development from there, so it was good.
Now these are the baby monitors that we used to use to communicate between the server room here and upstairs where Carmel would do the admin work. And
Very
Carmel,
high
we've got somebody
technical.
annoyed about their bill. Can you we'll switch them over to you?
We actually didn't even pay for them. They were a gift from someone, and they still are useful to this day, you know. So and they're memories. We've hung on to them. So that was one of your old auntie's
that's,
desks.
off my godparents.
Yeah.
That one. So yeah, this is amazing. We used to get these little leaks coming through here. They come in about a metre or so in, and we'd be like panicking, moving all the gear over that way.
Well, at least it always flooded on this side because all the computers were on that side.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we had stilts here. There was a bit of there's even a flood mark. Look at that. Bit of a flood mark from the old days.
We really had three main players in the early days, and that was myself, Carl and Carmel, not necessarily in that order. And Carmel did all the books and did a lot of work, whilst we were doing other things, and that was great. She was really inspirational and really helped the business along. And Carl and I had really different roles. I was programming away, building the website and the technical and a lot of the strategy side, and Carl was on the phone doing the sales, because I didn't want to be doing the sales. Carl was really good at it. So we had different roles, and it was just when you start a business, you've got to have complementary people, and we really had that, and we all did a fantastic job doing it, and that's why we made it happen. We had some key staff originally. Most of the original people that we employed a decade ago are still with us today.
We built a lot of computers in here for the school just down the road, Beverly Hills Primary. Trained those people on how to use the internet and so forth in the early days, because the real estate agents, they didn't want to know about the internet in those early days.
Couldn't give it away for nothing, could we?
But we thought we'll just sit back, they'll be there eventually.
The real estate agents themselves didn't have internet access, they didn't have computers, so we had to provide them with computers, internet access, the whole service, the help to get them going and so forth, and then we had to even load their properties onto our system, so we had to scan the photographs and type up all the text and that sort of thing. First memory is when we started the business, or when we had the idea to start the business, where Carl and I were working at RMIT University, and we'd been using the internet for years and years, but on a text basis, so it was just FTP and these sorts of things, so really useful for academic use. And then Mosaic came around, which was the first graphical use of the web, or the internet, it was then known. And we just looked at that and just said, this is going to change the world. Because I think one of the first sites that had come about was Interflora. They were doing some practice sites, and they had order your flowers online or something like that. And you could just see that so much commerce was going to happen on this system that we just said, right, that's it. We've got to start something up.
When we decided we wanted to start an internet company, real estate wasn't quite in our heads just at that point, but
just the possibilities
was
were so exciting, wasn't it?
It was about a few days later, probably the first Saturday that came along, we bought the Saturday's Age, and with all the lift outs and whatnot, and we were going through that and we thought, let's just see what the newspapers do, and we had a look and thought, gee, the real estate section is practically half the newspaper. And also we have the local paper. And it's so hard
to find something, whereas we knew
Correct.
that search engines would just make it so much more functional.
That's right.
We needed to have something that would lock our customers in and really add value by doing that, because there's no good if you have 100 different real estate websites. It's no good for the consumer, and it's no good for the real estate agent. You need one or two central places that people can come to find it. So that's how we wanted to find something like that, and we looked at a range of different options, like cars and all sorts of things, and we managed to get the real estate domain name, which was a bit of a coup for us after a bit of convincing of the domain registrar. And from then we had to do it slowly because there was no income. We had to get our income from other places to fund the ongoing business. So it was a slower process than we would have liked. These days, we'd raise capital and then go hell for leather on it, but we had to do it slowly back then.
We knew it would go eventually, because we perhaps were very oriented on the customer side of things, the internet surfers.
It was a bit of a slog trying to convince people to get on there because it's going to be huge one day. I think there was some talk at one stage of selling realestate.com, the domain name.
Oh no, someone approached us and offered us $10,000, but we're all sensible enough to say no thank you.
So,
we realised that was our little diamond.
However, had they offered more, I'm sure Marty and Carmel and...
We might have, yeah, there were times. It was awfully hard. Marty and Jen, I think, found it difficult. Jen wasn't involved in the business all that much, so that would have put a lot of pressure on their relationship.
Definitely a struggle there, because Marty used to work all sorts of crazy hours here, as we all did, and that would have put a strain on all of us.
It was, yeah, it definitely put some strain on things. But I got through it, I suppose. It was many days we worked all night. You would see the sun come up, and when we had to deliver a project for the next day and that sort of thing. But it wasn't. We never felt like hard work because it was great. We were building something, and I'm just always the one I've always been very, very goal orientated, and it was just great to build something.
It's hard to say if you'd do something again with the hindsight that we now have. I'd probably say yes, because I would be probably more aware of the pitfalls this time. But I've said to Carl, I don't need more. I'm very happy with what we've got now. I think life is fantastic for us, and I'm happy to sit back now and enjoy and watch it go on to become something even more fabulous.
Yes, I'd do it again, absolutely. And even now I look back and you just think, it's just wonderful that we've made it so much easier for people to search for houses on the internet. It's helped me as much as anybody else. So, if you want to find a house, compared to what it used to be, it's now so much easier. And the business employs lots of people. It's just wonderful that that we've made a really good contribution. Done well out of it at the same time, and lots of people have done well out of it. So that's a big bonus. But the way I see it is that we just created value.